Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna.
Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare Krishna Hare Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna Krishna Hare Hare Hare
Hare
Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama Rama
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna
Hare Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna
Hare Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama
Hare
Hare Krishna Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare. Hare
Hare Krishna Hare
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama Rama
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare
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 Hare. Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama Hare Rama Rama
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Rama Rama Rama
Krishna Hare Hare. Hare
Hare Krishna
Ram Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna Hare
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 Krishna
Hare Rama Hare
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Rama
Hare.
Rama Hare
Hare
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Krishna
Hare.
Hare Hare
Hare Krishna
Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama
Krishna
Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama
Hare
Rama Rama
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna 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 Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama Hare Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare 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 Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Rama
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare.
Rama Rama Rama
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare 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 Rama
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare.
Rama Rama
Hare
Rama Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare Krishna
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Hare Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna Hare
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 Hare.
Rama Hare
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama Rama Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna Hare
Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Hare Hare Rama
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Rama Rama
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
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 Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Ram, Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram, Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama, Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna, Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Ram,
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Rama, Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Rama
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Rama
Hare
Rama, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Hare, Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Rama,
Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram, Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama
Ram,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare,
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama,
Ram
Rama
Ram, Hare
Rama,
Hare,
Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram, Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Rama, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram Ram Hare Hare
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram Ram
Krishna, Hare
Ram Hare
Hare,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama, Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram Hare
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 Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram
Hare,
Ram Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama, Hare Rama, Rama
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama, Rama Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
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 Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Rama, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Ram Hare Ram Ram
Hare
Ram Hare
Rama,
Hare
Hare Rama,
Hare
Rama,
Krishna
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Hare
Rama
Krishna
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Krishna
Hare,
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare Ram
Hare
Ram
Rama, Hare
Ram
Rama,
Hare Hare
Rama Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
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 Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Ram
Hare
Hare Hare
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram, Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Ram
Ram
Ram,
Hare
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 Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Ram,
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Hare,
Hare Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Ram Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Hare Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Ram, Hare Ram,
Ram
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Hare,
Ram Ram,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Ram
Ram,
Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Ram
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Ram,
Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna,
Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare
One
Hare,
pack of cheapest
Hare
watch.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare
Krishna, what
Ram,
is
Hare
it?
Ram, Ram
You
Ram,
happen
Hare
to know?
Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare,
No, I think
Hare Krishna,
recently
Hare
after
Krishna,
that.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Good morning and welcome to the Sunday morning Srimad Bhagavatam reading and discussion with the Hare Krishna Society Prabhupada Disciples Association. And we want to welcome all of you globally to this Zoom meeting. We're dovetailing the internet in spiritual service to Krishna and to Srila Prabhupada. And this was a example that Prabhupada set when using technology to propagate Krishna consciousness. And I've spoken about this many times. People say they're going to go out on book distribution. Okay. Well, we've all went on book distribution, many of us. I've done this for thousands of hours, actually, Vijaya Pandit, in my history. And now things have changed somewhat. And the method for reaching people is far more comprehensive with the use of technology. Yes, you can meet them online and you can speak to them. You can answer questions that they have. You can show them videos, like our program. We show Prabhupada lectures 2-3 times a program. Very informative and direct to the point, not speculative, like a lot of people speculate on this philosophy. And we know that. They just make it up. They think there's some kind of avatar. That's what they think. And when you hear them talk, for us, and actually I mentioned to Shrestha Rupa yesterday, it kind of incites me because they're so hypocritical. And the uneducated listener doesn't know the difference between the truth and misinformation, distortion of reality. But this is going on in the name of Vaishnava philosophy. So bogus. And this is a war. It is, really. Well, think about the Bhagavad Gita, Yashodanandana Prabhu. It was a war. A fratricidal war, actually. So here we have a situation where we had a group of God brothers change everything for their own personal motivation and change the philosophy for their own personal motivation. Profit, adoration, and distinction. It's almost like a rap song. Profit, adoration, and distinction. But the fact of the matter is, this is reality in 2025. And it is not a reality, Krishna Katha. It's a tragedy. Not a reality, a tragedy. Because you take something which is so potent and you misrepresent it. Yeah, Haribo, there you are. Potent, but you misrepresent it, and it ruins everything. This is not something we want. And enough of that. We're going to go on with, I'm going to introduce a couple of things, and then we'll do the Prabhupada Sotram. I wanted to say something about the Delhi Bhagavatams. We undertook this project, I guess, Yashodanandana Prabhu, was it? Time flies, I guess. Is it about 2 years? A year and a half? It's got to be. When we started in on the project. Now, someone could say, we've had people inquire about the purchase of them, and then they may decline. That's okay. That's their choice. But they should realize one thing. This is not a common thing that's happened. How many other people on this planet, Krishna Gita, have made an endeavor to reprint the Delhi Bhagavatams? How many? Well, we know there was a group. It was this group uh, that was headed up by this Veda Guya that was doing that. Now they've completely stopped all the printing and publishing of these KBI books because of lawsuits. Terrible, eh? Over lawsuits for copyrights and money. They stopped spreading the truth. Well, we undertook it without fear of ramification. Because Krishna is protecting us, Prabhupada is protecting us, because the truth should be protected. And we're simply disciples of A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. And by the way, Krishna Katha, Prabhupada said this. He said, all my disciples, they carry my legacy. Now, what does that mean? Well, legacy is his books, first of all. We have a right, spiritually, to produce these books, and we have. Yet some people are thinking, well, I don't want to buy one. Okay, well, don't. That's your choice. But you're going to miss the boat. It's not unlimited Delhi Bhagavatams that are existing on this planet. There aren't. There are very few. We have so many sets, yes, available, but eventually they'll all go. And how will you get one then? Oh, I wish I had one. He who hesitates is lost. If you don't take advantage of this, just like these classes, if you don't take advantage of them, eventually they're going to go away anyway, at least the way we see them now, because everything is in a state of flux, of change. I've been meditating. I seem to go to sleep, Yashoda, and I start meditating on some point of our philosophy, because I'm thinking about myself in this mortal body, because it's subject to time, and everything must change, everything must go. Our philosophy is that the individual soul is Sat Chit Ananda, eternal, full of knowledge and bliss. But in the material world, everything is a Sat, a Chit, and Nirananda, temporary, not eternal. Full of knowledge? Well, not really. Full of ignorance. And bliss, Nirananda, miserable. The material world, in many ways, is a miserable place. Prabhupada said it was the bad bargain for the human being, for the living entity. It's a bad bargain. You think it's great. Like you see all these pictures of beautiful people. Oh, I'm so beautiful. Look at how nice I am. I'm so happy. Oh, look, because I have beauty. But like a wilting rose, it goes away. It fades. And then you're miserable. And no amount of material arrangement can make you happy. No. And we see that all the time. People are committing suicide at a high rate because they may have money, they could have the relationship didn't work out, and they're tortured by it. Absolutely, they can't give it up because they're on the mental platform. So, Satchidananda. And we're going to move forward with the Prabhupada Shotram for some thought. And this program is dedicated to Srila Prabhupada and his glorification, not anything else. So please, let's roll that, Rupa Goswami. In Bombay, Mumbai, go ahead, please.
Srila Prabhupada Stotram. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatharine Krishna Kacheta Madamoha Vinachakarin Madrishti Gochara Prabhupada Swamin Dosha Vivritti Paridushita Manda Buddhe Sanchintayami Charano Tava Bhakti Etu Vrindavane Ramanareti Prasiddha Bhumau Tatrapi Krishna Balarama Supada Mule Jnanam param parama Krishna sudharma ityuktam Dantastu deva Prabhupada namo namaste 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 kripa purna drishti Namaste namaste mahananda dhatri Namamo namama punaraksha raksha Prasiddha Prabhupahimam daksha daksha Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Vanga Bhumijana Bhushana Ghora Leela Ghoranga Bhava Parisharana Matra Shila Radha Mukunda Pada Padma Manovilasin Anandarashi Prabhupada Namo Namaste Anandarashi Prabhupada Namo Namaste Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
I want to thank our production team for creating this glorification of Srila Prabhupada. It is very inspiring. Do you see the pictures you showed that they inserted in it? Those beautiful pictures of you in Vrindavan, at the Vrindavan Gurukula. They've been captured and put up to remind everyone that we're not concocting things. These were actual events that took place. And at the end, there was that picture of me and you in Mayapur at the door there. Prabhupada's coming out for his walk, I suspect. And me and you were right beside each other back then, not knowing that we ended up creating this opportunity for all of us to preach and present Krishna consciousness in 2025. Who would have thought? Connect the dots. I always say that, connect the dots. See how Krishna is working. Having all of us get the opportunity to serve Srila Prabhupada with this transcendental. Pure Angelo, what is it? It's a transcendental, there he is, opportunity and preparation. You combine the two, you can be successful. And the success will be that so many people, not a lot, but some, better for us, better some than none, have the opportunity to become Krishna conscious in this lifetime and go back to home, back to Godhead at the time of death, which is imminent. I was thinking about that, Yashoda. And I keep on saying it over and over again. This material body is as a bad bargain for the spirit soul. Why? Well, take a look at yourself in the mirror. Just go look at yourself and tell me it's a good bargain. It isn't. It's a bad bargain. But it's a wonderful opportunity in the human form of life because of our association with Prabhupada in his Vani incarnation. He's present in sound, and this is the medicine for people who are comatose. You know what that means? Comatose. You're totally unconscious. That's what it is, comatose, unconscious. Reality is there, but they can't see it. And this is their malady, their sickness. They're sick in the head. Well, don't say that, Vishwa. That's not very nice. Well, let's say you're in Maya. How about that? That's another way of saying it. Rachisha, are you having fun? Do you like this? Mother Rachisha, she's such, I'm not going to embarrass her. Everybody, understand who she is. Just understand it. When you understand it, then you'll be able to understand what this opportunity is. And she's taking full advantage of it. We follow in the footsteps of the great devotees, Vijaya Pandit. They set the example. People have opinion, okay, I don't like this guy or that guy, but the fact of the matter is we're producing opportunity for people to become Krishna conscious using technology in a very positive way. And we're going to go to the next section. Look at this. The Jaladuta Diaries. Now, Mother Shrestha asked that question the other day. What was Prabhupada doing in his daily schedule? And what better way to look at it than read the diaries of the spiritual master? Can we go to the pictures, Rupa? Have you got them? Or yeah. It's a little bit tough here, everyone, because he's referring to things that are online. I've got the actual copy of the book. India Preparation for Passage to America aboard the Jaladuta. And here, I'll show you this. I'm just going to show you the picture because I should have sent them.
What's that audio?
Who's that? Oh. Yeah, sorry about that, everyone. I'll turn my phone off. I very rarely get phone calls during the program, but occasionally it happens. So, this is a picture of the Scindia Steamship Company photo. Here, I'll do it. Like that. I guess you can see it. Now, this diary was presented to Prabhupada. It was produced by them for people on a journey. And it says that they have cargo services to India, Pakistan, Burma, and Ceylon. Do you have anything, Rupa Goswami, that you can post on the screen here? Do you have anything? What's that? We'll have to coordinate this. We're going to have to coordinate this better. I'll have to work on it. It's my fault. Because we don't have the same, how can I say, references in order to present this. So what can you show on the screen, Prabhu? Good. Charya, today, Monday. Muffet Lal. Okay. You know what we're going to do? I think what we'll do is we'll reload this because there's a lot of pictures and photographs that I have to send over to make the experience for all of you more, how can I say, relevant to the show. So we're going to table this for the next program. And we'll go ahead and we're going to show a Prabhupada lecture. Oh, good morning, Mother. We'll go to the next section, which is the Prabhupada lecture. So let's go to that. Haribo.
Bhagavate Vasudevaya Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam. Now, how we shall meet death? Like cats and dogs? Then what is the use of this human form of life? The cats and dogs, they have got body. They are also will meet death. And I have got body, I will also meet death. So, am I meant for meeting death like cats and dogs? Then what kind of human form would human being have? No. The Shastra says that labdha sudullamamidam bhusambhavante. After many evolution of different kinds of body, you understand the evolutionary theory. It is not exactly like Darwin's theory, but this evolutionary process is there, that is admitted in Vedic literature. From lower grade of animal life to the higher grade of animal life. So this human form of life is to be understood. We have got this human form of life after many lower grades of life. Labdha sudurlabham. And it's very rare. You count, those who are biologists, you count how many kinds of living entities are there. There are 8,400,000 of species of life. Out of that, the human being are very small quantity. Out of 8,400,000, the human species of life are 400,000. Compared with other animals, very small quantity. Out of that there are uncivilized men, many. They are almost animals. Then there is civilized form of human being, just like we are. Out of them, they do not know, they do not know what is spiritual life. Manusanam, that is also stated in the Bible. Manusanam sahasri. Out of many thousands of human beings, one is interested to make a solution of the problem. Not everyone. Everyone, they do not know what is the problem. Neither they do care for it. They think, all right, let there be problem. We have got this life, let us enjoy senses. So they are almost animals. But those who are inquisitive, how to solve the problem, they are actually accepted as human beings. Others, they are not even human beings. They are almost animals. So, we have got this opportunity
So this body should be utilized properly. How to solve the problem? If we simply give ourselves in the waves of the cycle of birth and death, of different types of body, that is not very good, not intelligence at all. So this human form of life should be utilized how to make solution of the problem. That is Vedic civilization. They stressed more on the solution of the problems, create problems. The materialistic way of life means to increase and create problems. But that is not perfect human civilization. The perfect human civilization is that you have to sit very calmly, quietly, and philosophically think how to solve this problem. Where I shall get the knowledge? This is human concept. The whole Vedic instruction is like that. Now you utilize this form of life to make a solution of the problem. Don't die. Before death comes, you make a solution. Don't die like cats and dogs. No. And one who tries, the Veda says, etat viditya japrayati sa brahmana. One who dies after attempting to make a solution of the problems, he is Brahmin. And one who dies like cats and dogs, he is called Kripana. Kripana means very less intelligent man. So we should not die like cats and dogs, we should die like Brahmin. Even in one life this solution is not made, then you get next life opportunity, just like all these boys who have come to us. It is to be understood that they tried in their last life also for making a solution of this problem, but it was not finished. There is another opportunity. These things are stated in the Bhagavad Gita. So now, this life, you should be determined. Those who are coming to the touch of Krishna consciousness and initiated to execute, they should be very determined that in this life we shall make a solution. No more. No more coming again. That should be our determination. So this Krishna consciousness movement is for this purpose, to make a solution of all the problems of life and go back to home, back to Godhead, where we get eternal, blissful life of knowledge. This is the seventh substance of Krishna consciousness.
Very illuminating. When you hear Prabhupada speak, he has Shakti, power, and he can penetrate the thick mind of the living entity who is confused about their identities. Huh? And Prabhupada says here, very interestingly, Yashodanandana, that the human life, many people are almost animals. Almost animals. Now, someone would say, well, that's quite harsh. Well, it isn't harsh. It's a fact. It's judged by your behavior, eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. That's all you think about. That's all you are. It's very interesting. I'm going to, before we move to the next section of our program, I'm going to give you an example. In America, there's a person, a Kennedy, he's the Minister of Health, the Director of Health. And they were interviewing him. They were asking him, well, what's your diet? And he goes, I'm a carnivore. Carnivore. Very interesting. Well, what is a carnivore? It sounds like a terrible word, doesn't it, Rochisha? Carnivore. Well, what it means is that you eat meat. That's what he said. Exclusively. His diet is meat. And at the same time, he's presenting himself as an expert in health. Well, the first thing in good health is good food. You eat dead carcasses, rotten, putrefied flesh. And you think you're inspiring people to become healthy by telling them, I'll use the word again, Rochisha, carnivore. You're eating dead bodies, man. That's not healthy. In fact, in India, it's called malecha, or dog eater, or even lower. And then they're presenting solutions to overweightness. Oh, you can get this drug or this pill. It's an insane asylum, everyone. So know that the solution is to take shelter of this opportunity in the human form of life to hear the transcendental message of Krishna consciousness and the Vedic teachings from the pure devotee, His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, and that is the solution. And thank you very much, everyone, for attending today's program. It's so blissful to see you all on the screen, some of you anyway. A lot I see names, but that's okay. We're glad you're here. And we'll move forward with the next section of our program, which is the reading from the Delhi Bhagavatams, this rare opportunity for everyone to have these sets and distribute them to others while you're still alive and get the benefit of the mercy of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So let's go forward with the chanting of Jaya Radha Madhava, the bhajan by Srila Prabhupada. Chant along. Don't be shy. Chant along. And we'll go from there to the reading and discussion with His Grace Yashodanandana Prabhu, my dear friend, and I really appreciate his hard effort to be on the program every 3 times a week and give his best realizations and share them with us in our confused state of life. Haribo.
Side. Jaya Radha Madhava Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Punya Bihari. Jaya Radha Madhava
समाज भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय, अनंत कोटि वैष्णववृंद की जय, नामाचार्य श्री हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद से अद्वैत गदाधर शिवास आदि गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गौ गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन की जय, वृंदावन धाम की जय, नवद्वीप धाम की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय, गंगा माई की जय, जमुना माई की जय, तुलसी देवी की जय, भक्ति देवी की जय, स्वामी तो भक्तवृंद की जय। All glories to the assembled Lord. All glories to the assembled Lord. Thank you very much.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. O my Lord Sri Krishna, the son of Vasudeva, the all-pervading personality of Godhead, I offer my respectful obeisances unto you. Narayanam Namaskritya. Narayanam Namaskritya. Naram Cheva Narottamam. Naram Cheva Narottamam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam. Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayat. Tato Jayam Mudirayat. One should utter the means of conquest, Srimad Bhagavatam, after offering respectful obeisances, 1, to the personality of Godhead Narayana, 2, to the Narayana Rishi, who is the supermost human being, 3, to the mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, then 4, to Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Thanks everybody from Srimad Bhagavatam 1 to 4. Thanks everyone for coming to this reading and discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam. This particular reading is being conducted from the original New Delhi 1962 edition, and all translations, synonyms, and purports are from His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, also known as the Krishna Consciousness Movement. As we do every week, we will be reciting a few Sanskrit verses with the translations which explains the meaning and the benefit of hearing this powerful transcendental literature. Yadanudyasina yukta karmagranti nibandhanam chindanti kuvidastasya kona kuryat kataratim. Intelligent persons do cut off the internet of the knot of reactionary work by remembrance of the personality of Godhead. Therefore, who will not give attention to his message? Shushrushoho sradadhanasya vasudeva kataruchihi syanmahat sevaya vipra punyatirtha nishevanat. O the twice-born sages, by serving those devotees who are completely freed from all ranges of vice, a standard of great service is done. And as the result of such great service, affinity in the messages of Vasudeva is made possible. Shrinvatam svakatah Krishnaha punyashravana kirtana Hridyantasto yabadrani vidunoti suritsatam. Sri Krishna, the personality of Godhead, who is also the Paramatma in everyone's heart and the benefactor of a truthful devotee, does cleanse the desire for material enjoyment in the heart of the devotee who has developed the urge for hearing his Krishna's messages, which are themselves virtuous when properly heard and chanted. Nashtaprayeshu babhadreshu nityam bhagavata sevaya bhagavati uttama shloke bhaktir bhavati naistiki. By regular attendance in the Bhagavatam class or rendering service unto the pure devotees, all that is inauspicious in the heart of a candidate becomes destroyed almost to nil, and thus loving service unto the personality of Godhead, who is praised with transcendental songs, comes into being an irrevocable fact. Tadara justamo bhava kamalo badayaschaye chetaye terana viddam stitam sattve prasidati. As soon as irrevocable loving service is fixed up in one's heart, at that time the effects of the nature's mode of passion and ignorance, such as lust, desire, and hankerings, etc., do disappear from one's heart, and he becomes fixed up in the mode of goodness, which makes him completely happy. Evam prasanna manaso bhagavad bhakti yogataha bhagavat tattva vijnanam mukta sangasya jayate. Thus, when one is positively fixed up in a mode of unalloyed goodness, the enlivened-minded man affected by contact of devotional service of the Lord can positively know scientific knowledge of the personality of Godhead in the stage of liberation from all material association. Vidyate hridaya grantish chidyante sarva samshaya kshiyante chasya karmani drishtaye bhatmanishvare. The knot of one's heart is thus pierced, and all misgivings are cut into pieces. The chain of fruitive actions are terminated along with the seeing of oneself, the dominating factor. We'll proceed with our specific verse for today. We are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 1, Chapter 7, text number 33. Tata sadya tarasa darunam gautami sutam babanda amarshatam raka pashum rasanaya yata. Tata, thereupon, asadya, arrested, tarasa, dexterously, darunam, dangerous, Gautami Sutam, the son of Gautami, babanda, bound up, amarsha, angry, tamraksha, with copper red eyes, pashum, animal, rasanaya, by ropes, yata, as it were. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. By anger, Arjuna's eyes seemed to be red balls of copper, and he dexterously arrested the son of Gautami in the manner as if it were an animal, as it were an animal is bound up by ropes. Purport. Ashwatthama's mother, Kripi, was born in the family of Gautama. The significant word in this shloka is that Ashwatthama was caught and bound up by ropes like an animal. According to Sridhar Swami, Arjuna was duty-bound to catch this son of Brahmin like an animal as a part of his duty, dharma. This suggestion of Sridhar Swami is also confirmed in the later statement of Sri Krishna. Ashwatthama was a bona fide son of Dronacharya and Kripi, but because he had degraded himself to a lower status of life, it was apt to treat him as an animal and not as a Brahmin, simply on account of his high parentage of being the son of a great Brahmin, Dronacharya. Text number 34. Sibiraya nimishantam rajva baddharipum balat praharjuna prakupito bhagavan anbujekanam. Sibiraya, on the way of military camp, nimishantam, while bringing him, rajva, by the ropes, badda, bound up, ripum, the enemy, Balat by force. Praha said, Arjunam unto Arjuna. Prakupito in angry mood. Bhagavan, the personality of Godhead. Anbujekshanam, who looks with his lotus eyes. Translation by Srila Prabhupada. When Arjuna, after arresting Ashwatthama, wanted to take him towards the military campsite, the personality of Godhead Sri Krishna, who looks on with his lotus side, said him, Arjuna, in an angry mood, purport by his divine grace. Both Arjuna and Lord Sri Krishna is described here in angry mood. But the difference is Arjuna's eyes were seemed to be like balls of red copper, whereas the eyes of the Lord are described as the lotus. This means that angry mood of Arjuna and that of the Lord are not on the same level. The Lord is transcendence, and as such, he is absolute in any stage. His anger is not equal to the anger of a conditioned living being within the modes of qualitative material nature. Because he is absolute both in his anger and pleasure are all the same. His anger is not exhibited in the three modes of material nature. It is only a sign of his bent of mind towards the cause of his devotee, because that is his transcendental nature. Therefore, even if he is angry upon many a body, the object of anger is blessed. He is unchanged in all circumstances. Om Ajnana Timirandasya Jnanam Janashalakaya Chakshuran Meritam Yena Tasmai Shigurave Namah Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Niti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shonyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Bhakti Siddhanta Shishyaya Bhakti Vedanta Namine Prasannaya Prashantaya Tasmai Shigurave Namah Bhagavad Vandana Kadyam Guru Vandana Purvakam Kshiram Sharkarya Yuktam Kadatehi Visheshatah Adadana Dante Ridam Yache Punaha Punaha Srimad Rupa Padam Bhoja Dulishyam Janma Janmani Amsho Bhagavatosmyaham Sadadasu Asmi Sarvata Tat Kripa Pikshako Nityam Tat Prishta Satkaromisvam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadara Sri Vasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Here we see in our continuation of this particular pastime of Lord Krishna and Arjuna chastising Ashwatthama. Ashwatthama had killed the sons of Draupadi, and Draupadi, being aggrieved, was very dejected. And Arjuna promised to Draupadi that he was going to bring the head of that so-called Brahmabandhu. And Krishna, now that Ashwatthama has been arrested, Krishna is getting ready to give his verdict of what to do with this so-called sons of a Brahmin. Earlier in the Sanskrit text, there is description of this Ashwatthama was called a Brahmabandhu, a friend of the Brahmana, not an actual qualified Brahmana. I was reading the other day, Srila Prabhupada said there is a misconception in India that a Brahmin means being born in a family of a Brahmana. Says, no, we do not accept that. One may be very qualified, being born in the family of a Brahmana, but it is not sufficient. In the Skanda Purana, there is description, Janmana Jayate Shudraha, Samskarat Bhavet Dvijaha. Sometimes Prabhupada would say, Kalo Shudra Sambhava, Samskarat Bhavet Dvijaha, that everyone is born as a Shudra. And by proper reformation, by samskara, one becomes a Brahmana. Now, what the caste Brahmins in India will say is that you're not eligible to participate in these samskaras if you were born in a family of a Shudra. But that is a falsehood. According to the teachings of the 6 Goswamis, Sanatana Goswami especially, in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, he describes that any person can be reformed by the proper process of samskara. This is what Srila Prabhupada introduced. But how does that person become qualified? By the chanting of the name of Krishna. Namno hi yavati shakti papa nirharane harehe tavat kartum nashaknu ki patakam pataki naraha. In the Vishnu Purana, there is description. This is a very important verse, and Prabhupada quoted that several times. By chanting even the name of Vishnu or Krishna once, one becomes purified of more sinful activities that he can commit in millions of years. Immediately becomes purified. Of course, those caste Brahmins do not have the sufficient intelligence or faith to understand these things. The Srimad Bhagavatam itself has many references to the potency of the chanting of the name of Krishna. Aho bata srapacho gariyan. Even if one is born in a family of a dog eater, let's understand the system of Vedic classification. There's Brahmanas, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudras. Below that are Mlechas and Yavanas. And below that are Chandalas, or dog eaters. Now, we're not dog eaters, but we were born in the families of Mlechas and Yavanas, below Shudras. But by the mercy of a pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, and the chanting of the name of Krishna in bona fide discipline succession, one can become purified so that he becomes qualified to be a Brahmana. Now, there is a reason why Srila Prabhupada used to request devotees. We see this in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, to practice. It's called Purascharana. Purascharana means the activities before initiation. The chanting for 6 months, the participation in the Mangal Artik, Samkirtan, deity worship, japa, service. All of these activities are part of the system of Purascharya prior to initiation, so one becomes qualified to receive the initiation. This is the system that was introduced by Srila Prabhupada. Now, somebody will say, well, many people were initiated very quickly. They were initiated first without waiting 6 months. Well, that is Prabhupada's prerogative. Because in the Hari Bhakti Vilas, it says the disciple should live with the guru for 1 year, and the guru should live with the disciple for 1 year to see if they're compatible, to see if the prospective disciple is qualified. Prabhupada, when he was traveling all around the world, the system that he established was to have temple presidents and senior devotees and GBCs and senior Samkirtan devotees do this pariksha, this mutual examination for him as representatives, to examine whether or not the prospective candidates were qualified to receive initiation. And upon recommendation of these representatives, Prabhupada would give his approval and do the initiation. Now, for those who claim that they've become very expert in tradition, where do we find in the tradition that this pariksha was done by somebody else? Nowhere. Where do we find that somebody else is going to perform the fire sacrifice for the acharya? These people don't have very good knowledge of tradition, first of all. It's actually very ironic that many Mlechas and Yavanas a few years ago have become more expert in the tradition than the Sampradaya Acharya. Very, very interesting how some people become very arrogant. They learn a little bit and they become arrogant. I personally was in Prabhupada's room in 1972 in Vrindavan during the Nectar of Devotion lecture. And Prabhupada started to talk about a Bengali proverb, Alpa Vidyam Bhayam Kore, that sometimes a little bit of knowledge can be very dangerous. And we have seen this. Prabhupada complained in various conversations how some of his disciples, after having learned a little Sanskrit, they became very arrogant. They thought they become more learned than the spiritual master. This is very dangerous mentality. A devotee, it's not that one should become humble before initiation and then one becomes arrogant and puffed up afterwards, specifically after the departure of the Acharya. Now, there's a lot of fundamental points to understand about Vaishnavism, but how Prabhupada introduced Krishna consciousness all over the world, this is what we have to recognize. This is what we have to understand, how the empowered Acharya introduced various ways and means to spread Krishna consciousness, and it was successful because he was the authorized representative of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the empowered representative. I want to read from a section of Chaitanya Charitamrita. Maybe somebody can find it there if you can. This is from Madhya Lila Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 25, text number 10. Chapter 25, text number 10, Chaitanya Charitamrita. Prabhupada explains, Srila Bhakti, in the purport, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur then comments, without being empowered by the direct potency of Lord Krishna to fulfill his desires, and without being specifically favored by the Lord, no human being can become the spiritual master of the whole world. He certainly cannot succeed by mental concoction, which is not meant for devotees or religious people. Only an empowered personality can distribute the holy name of the Lord and enjoy all fallen souls to worship Krishna. By distributing the holy name of the Lord, he cleanses the hearts of the most fallen people. Therefore, he extinguishes the blazing fire of the material world. Not only that, he broadcasts the shining brightness of Krishna's effulgence throughout the world. Such an acharya or spiritual master should be considered non-different from Krishna. That is, he should be considered the incarnation of Lord Krishna's potency. Such a personality is Krishna Lingita Vigraha. That is always embraced by the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. Such a person is above the considerations of the Varnashram institution. He is the guru or spiritual master for the entire world, a devotee on the topmost platform, the Mahabhagavata stage, and a Paramahamsa Thakur, a spiritual form only fit to be addressed as Paramahamsa Thakur or Thakur. Not unless there are many people who are just like owls and never open their eyes to see the sunshine. These owlish personalities who are inferior even to the Mayavadi sannyasis cannot see the brilliance of Krishna's favor upon the Mahabhagavata devotee. They are prepared to criticize the person engaged in distributing the holy name all over the world and following in the footsteps of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who wanted Krishna consciousness preached in every town and city. Now, it's interesting to note here, Prabhupada is very humbly referring to himself. And he was referring to some of his contemporaries with some of their criticism at the time of his activities. Interestingly, this argument about Prabhupada, that the tradition. This argument came during Prabhupada's manifested presence, specifically in 1972, when Prabhupada had the first Mayapur festival. Some of Prabhupada's godbrothers came there to Mayapur to visit him in a little bamboo hut. And at that time, we were requested to leave the room so they could speak with Prabhupada individually, personally. At one point in the conversation got a little heated, and they raised their voices because we could see outside the room through the bamboo, the light separating the bamboo slats in the room. We could see they were very angry at Srila Prabhupada. And they were criticizing him. So Prabhupada finally brought his bell. He rang his bell. And he requested his secretary to bring his letterhead. And he showed these two godbrothers, who were two elderly sannyasis, disciples of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He showed them his letterhead, and it says, Sridandi Goswami, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. On Prabhupada's letterhead, he did not put the word Prabhupada. And Prabhupada explained, I do not call myself Prabhupada. My disciples called me Prabhupada. And this is what Prabhupada is referring in his purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita. With owlish personalities who are unable to appreciate the tremendous, unique historical service of Srila Prabhupada, traveling all around the world to bring Krishna consciousness everywhere. They stayed in their mat, ringing the bell, eating dal and chapatis while he was traveling all around the world. But they became angry at him and trying to scold him for what they claimed that he was calling himself Prabhupada. And after they left the room, and then afterward, they started to make propaganda against him. That Swami Maharaj, that's how they called our Srila Prabhupada, was not following the tradition. They accused him of so many things, that his danda was too high, because it's a tradition in India that the sannyasi danda should not be higher than the height of his head. That he was wearing silk, that he was wearing golflings, that he was wearing expensive watches, that he was allowing men and women to live in the same building. So many nonsensical, false accusations. This is the characteristics of the owlish personalities. There's another very interesting verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita regarding owlish personalities in a discussion about the divinity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Krishna Das Kaviraj mentions, this is from the Adi Lila, chapter 3, text 86. Adi Lila of Sri Chaitanya Charitamrita, chapter 3, text 86. Dekiya nadeke yata abhakti ragan, uluke nadeke yena suryera kiran. But faithless unbelievers do not see what is clearly evident, just as owls do not see the rays of the sun. What is meant by that, this was a description that this verse follows a very lengthy description of the divinity of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and so much evidence which have been presented by Krishna Das Kaviraj and our previous acharyas. But some people basically did not accept that. They did not accept that. As far as how did Prabhupada respond to these false accusations against him? Well, he was very humble, but he did reply, for example, in his purport of Chaitanya Charitamrita, and in his preaching all around the world. His books, his transcendental books, his Vani incarnation did the speaking for him. All around the world, people were appreciating his books, appreciating so many different scholars, philosophers, and different personalities became very, very enthused upon seeing the transcendental glories of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu being spread all around the world, and these beautiful books, scholarly books, being distributed everywhere. So many people appreciated but the owlish personalities did not appreciate. We see the same phenomena taking place with owlish personalities not accepting the Vani incarnation of Srila Prabhupada. They want to change it. Just yesterday, somebody sent me a link to some new group claiming to represent Prabhupada's teachings. So they gave a whole list of all different lists and links of some of Prabhupada's books. So I looked at the Bhagavatam, Canto 2, Chapter 6, Text 6 and 7. I have the original here, the first printing. It was a revised version. So I pointed out to the person that this is an adulterated, changed version. And the person replied, oh, I'm just trying to present. I said, no, it is not bona fide. But they cannot see. Why they cannot see? Because they're hearing from wrong persons. Let us submit ourselves at the lotus feet of the Acharya Srila Prabhupada and propagate his original, non-adulterated, transcendental Vani incarnation. Thank you very much. Back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you're so articulate, intelligent, and authentic in your presentation of this philosophy for everyone's benefit, because authenticity is something we all want. What is real and what is manufactured. That's the common denominator of this group. We all want authenticity. Because in authenticity, there is potency. And anything that is changed is at the prerogative of mundaners, the International Society of Mundaners. People interested in personal ambition, profit, Vijaya Pandit, adoration, and distinction. That is their confusion, delusion. And they propagate it to other people. And it's very serious. And I wanted to bring up a situation in my own life because people criticize this. Oh, you're telling us don't associate with the fake ISKCON gurus. Is that true? Yeah, we do say that. But Prabhupada also sent me a letter personally. And it's one of the most important letters that was ever sent to a disciple. One of the most important, and I talked to Bhagavad about this. My former godbrother, he's not my godbrother anymore because he's not following Prabhupada, and there is the door. Go away. I blocked him out of my life. Do not want him around. Prabhupada told me in the letter, and if you have it, you can put it on the screen. Do not associate with my godbrothers. He told us that. Do not read their books. Do not invite them to speak at our temples. Who did that? Srila Prabhupada, in writing, was telling us that their association was not good for us. There's a famous letter that was sent to Rupanuga Prabhu. I believe it's 1974 as well, where Prabhupada in detail goes over how he perceived his godbrothers as authentic or not authentic, fake. Now someone would say, well, is that the business of the pure devotee? It's simply to protect his disciples. That was the goal. He was trying to protect his disciples from bad association, because bad association is like poison. It's like being bitten by a poisonous snake. You'll die spiritually. Now, someone could say, well, that's pretty direct. Well, the truth is direct. It's not indirect. It's not motivational speaking, eh, Yashoda? Motivational speaking. And that's the business of the new people that are currently taking the role of Diksha Guru in our disciplic succession. And then people are criticizing us. Well, how come you're saying they're fake? Well, they are. And the proof is there online. All you have to do is Google it. And you'll see all of this hypocrisy going on. But this is, remember this, everyone, and this has been our theme all week, Virabhadra Goswami, that this is the Kali Yuga, the Iron Age of choral hypocrisy, and it exists. It existed not only during Prabhupada's manifested presence with his godbrothers, but it's re-manifested in our situation with our bogus godbrothers. Oh, yeah. I always ask them, Yashoda. I ask everyone all the time, call me up. B.B. Govinda, call me up. Indradumna, call me up. You all know me. Niranjana, call me up. No. They don't call up because they're cheaters. And I was speaking to Michael Dillon the other day in California there. And it was a pleasant conversation. And Michael, he brought up the point, cheaters and the cheated. That's what he was saying. Michael Dillon was bringing it up. And Michael's been chanting, Pure Angelo, just so you know, since 2017, he's been chanting without fail his rounds every day to 2025. And congratulations to you, Michael. Congratulations to that you've caught up the mission of Lord Chaitanya in association with the Prabhupada Disciples Association Hare Krishna Society. Yes, this is an opportunity to hear the truth. And we're going to move forward with our next section of our program, which is a writings called Our Living Guru, which further elaborates on the subject of authenticity. Do you want 24 karat gold or 2% gold? Well, 2% gold is fake gold. So let's go to real gold. Yashodanandana, let's move to this section. Haribo.
Well, thank you very much. We are reading from the 1993 publication, Our Living Guru, section 5.2. Question, but isn't there a system in our sampradaya that anyone can just become a guru after the departure of his guru? Unfortunately, the Living Guru Project has created their own idea of who's qualified to be in the parampara. Quoting a Gaudiya advisor, the editors of the Guru Project's March 1990 ISKCON journal have seen fit to print the following statement. But there is a system in our sampradaya, so Tirtha Maharaj, Madhav Maharaj, S. Maharaj, or Gurudev, Swamiji, Swami Bhaktivedanta, they all became acharyas. But Prabhupada openly disagreed with the above claim. In numerous letters, conversations, and in his books, he clearly stated that these gentlemen were not qualified to be designated as acharyas. For example, a letter dated 14th of November 1973, Srila Prabhupada says, Bhakti Vilas Tirtha is very much antagonistic to our society, and he has no clear conception of devotional service. He is contaminated. Page up. And in a letter dated 28th of April 1974, that's the famous letter to Ripanuga Dasa, Srila Prabhupada goes on to analyze his godbrother's contamination. Hold on here. Srila Prabhupada, godbrother's contamination. S. Maharaj is responsible for disobeying the order of Guru Maharaj. If Guru Maharaj could have seen someone who was qualified at that time to be Acharya, he would have mentioned, because on the night he passed away, he talks of so many things, but he never mentioned an Acharya. His idea was Acharya was not to be nominated amongst the governing body. He said openly, you make a GBC and conduct the mission. So his idea was amongst the GBC, who would come out successfully and self-appointed Acharya would be automatically selected. So S. Maharaj and his two associate gentlemen unauthorizedly selected one Acharya, and later it proved to be a failure. The result is that now everyone is claiming to be Acharya, even though they may be Kanishtadhikari with no ability to preach. In some camps, the Acharya is being changed 3 times a year. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada clearly orders we may not commit the same mistake in our ISKCON camp. Srila Prabhupada wants no concocted, materially contaminated Acharya factory or living guru project, such as we have witnessed since 1977. Actually, Srila Prabhupada continues, amongst my godbrothers, no one is qualified to become Acharya. So it is better not to mix with my godbrothers very intimately, because instead of inspiring our students and disciples, they may sometimes pollute them. This attempt was made by them previously, notably in 1970, especially Madhav Maharaj, Tirtha Maharaj, and Ban Maharaj, but somehow I saved the situation. This is going on. Note. Please see the contrast between the Living Guru ISKCON Journal statements and Srila Prabhupada's. They name 3 Acharyas, but Prabhupada says that no one of his godbrothers is qualified to become Acharya. Moreover, Srila Prabhupada cautions about their ability to pollute his followers. Sometimes the GBCs claim that Prabhupada had not clearly instructed them to avoid Gaudiya Math consultations. But we find one living guru writing the following, quote, when Prabhupada was sick and there was some discussion that he might leave his body, one devotee suggested that perhaps one of Swamiji's Gaudiya Math godbrothers should come to America to fill in for Swamiji. And if the worst happened, take over the leadership of ISKCON. Swamiji said he would not call any of his godbrothers to come and take care of his disciples. He said, if this person speaks just one word different from what I'm saying, there will be great confusion among you. Actually, he said that the idea was a great insult to the spiritual master, from the so-called Lilamrita, Volume 3, page 162. Srila Prabhupada cautioned about the role of the first 2 gentlemen. They have unlawfully usurped the missionary activities of Srila Prabhupada. This is from a letter from Srila Prabhupada on the 30th of September, 1969. Further in the Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 5, Chapter 18, Text 22, Srila Prabhupada compares Tirtha Maharaj to the demon Ravana, hardly an example of a bona fide guru. Nevertheless, even after receiving the above instruction, ISKCON's leaders boldly went ahead and committed this insult to the spiritual master. They mixed intimately with S. Maharaj, especially in 1978, when they laid the foundation of their Living Guru project and made him their de facto Sampradayacharya by placing his instruction above Srila Prabhupada's instruction. As Prabhupada had prophetically foretold, his Gaudiya Math Godbrother's advice would cause great confusion. The GBC new advisor helped them establish that a ritual officiating priest or deputy Ritvik was practically as good as worshipable Acharya, as well as a number of other dubious philosophical deviations from Prabhupada's teachings. This was like telling a church minister that he was practically as good as Jesus himself. To be a humble officiating priest or deputy representative, as authorized by Prabhupada, especially on the 18th of October 1977, is one thing, but to place oneself on the level of eternal preceptor guru and accept worship on the level of Prabhupada is an entirely different thing. Speaks for itself. Back to you in the studio. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Yes. Gaudiya Math Part 2. Hey, Vijay Pandit? Gaudiya Math Part 2. And anybody that thinks it isn't, they're in Maya. Very big Maya. But they're small people. They're insignificant. It doesn't really matter. Because everyone's entitled to an opinion, just like everybody has body odor. You can have body odor, no one's going to say anything, maybe. But the fact of the matter is, opinion is there. We have a very interesting question, Pierangelo, from Shrestha Swarupa Devi Dasi, one of our Prabhupada disciples, newly initiated by the way and very inspired to serve Prabhupada with her talents and abilities. That's what devotional service means. You don't give up service, you dovetail it. The Garuda Purana Yashoda, she says, describes different sins and their punishments. In the context of our Hare Krishna movement, what happens to those who go against Srila Prabhupada's instructions or commit offenses and toward devotees? What are the specific scriptures or writings, books where such consequences are described? That's a very detailed question. Go ahead, Yashodanandana Prabhu, please.
Well, we read every day about the 10 offenses that one should avoid when chanting Hare Krishna. And one of these offenses is to blaspheme devotees who are engaged in spreading the glories of the Lord. Now, some people may argue, well, I was not criticizing, I was just pointing out some faults or some mistake or something. The point being that one should not falsely accuse another devotee. And we have seen this, we have experienced this, that some people will manufacture some nonsensical speculative interpretation and claim, oh, you have offended me. I call this a political playbook, Machiavellian political playbook. And this is too common amongst devotees, with especially people who have political agendas. They will not look at the facts, get the facts straight, and launch false accusations against other devotees. This is not proper. We have seen this. We have personally experienced this. Vishwakarma knows exactly what I'm talking about with some of the personalities that he dealt with in Toronto, Ontario, Canada, specifically after Prabhupada's departure, with all the political nonsense, the crazy talk, the crazy behavior, the threats, even threats of assassination. So, you know, these kind of behaviors are not very helpful at all for spiritual advancement. Not at all. As far as where are the specific scriptures or writings, books where such consequences are described, this is described in the 5th canto of the Bhagavatam of the result of offending other persons. There's a lot of description in various shastras of offending devotees, especially making false accusations based on speculative interpretations and lack of facts I'm speaking like this in a certain legalese way because I find that many devotees tend to have an emotional reaction, make false interpretation, do not get the facts straight, falsely reach the conclusions, and then accuse other devotees. Oh, you don't see things the way I see it. You're an offender. You're a blasphemer. You're going to hell. Here's 3 pages of quotes. This is nonsense. Get the facts straight first, then talk. Do proofreading, not spell check. Do your proper proofreading before you open your mouth or before you put the enter button or send button. After it's too late. We've seen this when even learned devotees, even scholarly devotees who use this technique. This is mode of passion. We're reading in the Bhagavad Gita. All the mode of passion produces grief and anxiety. There's no need for this kind of behavior. That's why I say, get the facts straight. Do not interpret everything according to your own way. Everybody is familiar when Prabhupada used to say, Atmavan Manyadi Jagat. Everybody in the material world interprets everything according to their own view. But in Krishna consciousness, we are trained to learn Shastra Chakshusha, to look everything to Shastra. Do not falsely accuse other devotees. It doesn't matter how scholarly you are, how many pages of quotes you have, or who you think you are. Do not falsely accuse devotees. We've seen this. We've seen this in 1978. Our Prabhupada's Sanskrit editor was literally chased out of the society because he did not agree with their interpretation of what should be done. Their idea that they should be sitting on Vyasasanas and have high temples and pranam mantras and everything. It was all on a basis of falsehoods and lies, blatant, nonsensical, offensive lies. And they've done this to many devotees. Just be aware of what you're dealing with. Catch it before it happens. Thank you very much. To whom it may concern.
Well, I can say who to concern. It's to people that are searching for spiritual life, are looking for genuine information, and they're being misinformed blatantly by people who were so-called godbrothers of ours, who have misrepresented this philosophy, misinformation, for their own personal purposes, and that's unfortunate. Bhakta Vaibhav. Okay, he's asked a question, Yasoda. Hare Krishna Prabhus, Jai Srila Prabhupada, please accept my humble obeisances. Thank you, brother. Prabhu, at the time when Srila Prabhupada was physically present, when he would travel, how would he go with the eating process? Like the food Prabhupada used to offer, or how? As Krishna says, whatever you do as an offering to me. Sorry if I cannot understand the right meaning of it, but please, can you guide me, Prabhu? Yashoda, please.
Well, there's many different stages here. In the beginning, when Prabhupada was living at the Dr. Mishra's ashram, he didn't have the same facilities as it was in the middle 1970s, when a movement that many devotees, temples were being established. So Prabhupada gradually trained the devotees to offer the bhoga, to offer it to Krishna. People should take prasadam. There's numerous stories, just like I related that story before, how in the beginning in India, when we went there, there was not a whole lot of established facilities. There was a small place in Calcutta on Albert Road. There was an apartment, the Akash Ganga apartment in Bombay. And we would live in dharmshalas or in some places of life members in many other places. So when Prabhupada one time had to go by train from Delhi to Calcutta, devotees unfortunately, they forgot to make arrangements for cooking. So those of you who have been in India, you know, you get to a train station and they have these little vendors on a little cart. They cook a little couple of puris and a little cup of potatoes, probably half spices. And basically, you give them a few rupees and you get a couple of puris and potatoes. So Prabhupada pulled out a couple of puris out of his pocket, gave it to the vendor, got some puris and potatoes. And he did some prayer and devotees. So Prabhupada, this is not prasadam. And Prabhupada said, do you think I'm such a fool that I will have to starve because you forgot to cook? You knew we would have a long journey. You did not make any arrangement for cooking. You did not do anything. And then Prabhupada explained, and when you have a situation like this, if you pay for something, it also becomes purified. But that doesn't mean to any kind of nonsense. But other places, I mean, Prabhupada, in his temples, devotees in the morning would do Prabhupada's massage, and somebody would cook Prabhupada's prasadam, some rice and dal and chapatis, vegetables, and, you know, it would be offered. And I've seen other situations, like there's a story. When I first went to the Los Angeles temple in 1970, devotees told me a story how Prabhupada one time walked in the kitchen, and devotees were busy preparing the offering for the deities. And Prabhupada said, give me a spoon. So they gave him a cooking spoon. He took some of the halva and he tasted it. And devotees said, oh, Prabhupada, this is not offered. This is not prasadam. Prabhupada said, oh, yes, it's offered. Krishna likes this. Very nice. So there's many different circumstances. We're not dealing here with a regular devotee or a neophyte devotee who is struggling. Prabhupada is an emissary from the spiritual world. Not that we should try to imitate that, but Prabhupada wanted us to follow the proper standard, how to offer the food properly, how to respectfully, with love and devotion, to distribute the food and everything. So this is very important. I mean, Prabhupada insisted that people who would cook in the kitchen should be twice initiated devotees. And I personally have received many complaints from devotees in many places where they pay cooks and people who are not twice initiated and don't really know the standards. Some people say, well, they're good cooks. Well, good cook is not this criteria. The criteria is to follow the standard and to offer it according to the instruction of the spiritual master, with the primary instruction to offering with love and devotion. Just a few points here. I hope it helps. Hare Krishna.
Well, it does very much so, but I think one of the points is this, that we should remember that Prabhupada is not, as you said, Yashoda, an ordinary person. That his practices, his discipline, they are exclusive to him as a representative of Krishna. And not only a representative of Krishna, an actual manifestation of Krishna's mercy. So you offer to Prabhupada, and that is like offering to Krishna. That's what we do. When you offer food, you offer it first to Srila Prabhupada. I think there was a story like that, where people were wondering that Prabhupada was eating when it wasn't offered. That was so ridiculous. Yashoda, do you recall that story? Where Prabhupada, could you maybe express it, please?
Story regarding?
Well, people were offering, but it wasn't offered. It wasn't, they were saying it wasn't prasadam, but that's what you do when you offer food. You first offer it to your guru.
Yes, that is correct. That's what Prabhupada taught us.
That's the system. Here, we've got enough. Let's go to another question here. Those who are offensive, we should avoid to commit. My question is, what happens if they did commit the offense? This is what Shreya
where are we
asked
reading
us.
this here?
She sent it to me on a private message here. I get messages from different people. I think I have an answer. Surya Nama Te Loka. Oh, her hand's up. Go ahead, Shreya. Shreya Rupa. Shrestas.
Hare
Your
Krishna,
head's
all
up.
glories.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Thank you so much for taking this question. My question is, now since we already know these are the offenses, and we do know that we are not supposed to do it, it is giving us information of what to avoid, which can be, a sin. But why do people then still commit it? Why do they not feel afraid or take it seriously? What is it that causes them the lack of fear or awareness? That's what I want to understand. What gives them the guts to go ahead and still commit the sin?
Would you like
Go
to
ahead,
comment on
Vishnu.
that, Vishwa?
Well, I've got a simple answer. People, they don't want to listen. We know a lot of people like that. They have trouble hearing, and they lack the intelligence to accept simple instructions on these matters. They just lack it. And Asurya Nama Te Loka, the problem is these people that are teaching these people, they, along with their followers, will, it says in the Sri Yashoda maybe, they'll enter into the darkest regions of the universe, known as the planets of the faithless. So this is the fate of those who do this. Yashoda, please.
Well, we have to learn as we progress in devotional service, just like in the third canto of the Bhagavatam. I was discussing this recently with another devotee, because some people think that devotees are all the same. They're all devotees. Yeah, but there's different levels. Just like there's different levels of chanting. There's Nam Aparad, there's Nam Abbas, and there's Nam Shuddha, the clearing stage, the offensive stage, the clearing stage, the pure stage. So similarly, amongst devotees, there's devotees who perform devotional service in a mode of goodness. There are devotees who perform devotional service in a mode of passion. And there are devotees who perform devotional service in a mode of ignorance. And this is described in the third canto of the Bhagavatam in the instruction of Kardamuni to Devahuti. Now, we have to learn to distinguish. Anybody can put the dress of a devotee, just like in French, there's a saying, l'habit ne fait pas le moine. The dress doesn't make the monk. Just because somebody has the dress of the devotee, we have to see the proper behavior, the sincerity, the devotion. Now, we're not supposed to falsely criticize any devotee, but that doesn't mean that we cannot use our intelligence to distinguish what is proper and what is improper. And this is the problem I have, especially from my personal experience of what I saw very early on after Prabhupada departed. The attitude is, we're in charge, we're in power, we're the managers, shut up, just accept, and if you don't accept, you're a rascal, you're a fool, you're a nonsense. And then this escalated to the point that let's have them killed. Threats of assassination, threats of beating. In other words, a devotee should be eager to discuss issues of spiritual topics. You don't have to threaten somebody because somebody doesn't agree with your interpretation. In other words, a person has to develop the intelligence to be able to distinguish between falsehoods and truth. It's not just all black and white. There is a lot of different levels of realization. Look how much detail is there in Prabhupada's books. It's like we read today about Srila Prabhupada's explanation of a Mahabhagavat doing service all over the world. And Prabhupada is very clearly saying how some people who have an owlish mentality, owlish personality, are unable to appreciate that service. So this is there. There are some people who are unfortunately envious or too much in a mode of passion and ignorance, and they cannot appreciate the service of other devotees. And we see this with false accusation, false criticisms, concocted ideas, and nonsense ideas. I've seen this frequently. Devotees will make some false concocted accusations, accusing a devotee of things that are not based on fact. So this is the product of the mode of passion and ignorance, and devotees should be very careful to refrain from this kind of mentality. Hare Krishna.
Yes, there are lots of rules and regulations that we have to follow, but the main thing is purification. That if you chant your rounds every day, 16 rounds, if you offer your food sincerely. You take your foodstuffs as prasadam by the mercy of the Lord. If you study the books every day, you get some spiritual vision, not confusion. And you associate with devotees that are of the same mentality, and you cooperate, not be an independent agent. Independent agents won't get very far in life. It's teamwork that makes things go in this world. And you see it in our programs when you see all the pictures, Rotisha Devi Dasi, of all the devotees, how Prabhupada brought all these wonderful people together to serve one common purpose, which was the mission of Lord Chaitanya. Oh, yes. And that was a great thing. And we're going to move forward with our next section of the program, which is another lecture by Srila Prabhupada. So let's roll that. Haribol.
Om Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Juta Padakamalam Tasmat Priyapriyo Viyoga Sanayoga Janama Sukanina Sakala Joni Sudayamana Dukkho Sadam Tadapi Dukkha Mata Dhyaham Bhuman Brahmami Badame Sabadastu Yogam. Prahlad Maharaj, previous verse, he said, I am very much afraid of this material existential condition. Dukkhalayam Athasatam. Now, he is describing what is the different phases of such suffering. Yasmat, on account of this material existence. When we come to this material world, there are connections with so many persons, Bhutapro, Pitinirang, Nilang. As soon as we come down from the womb of the mother, there are so many relatives, friends, Bhuta Aptya, Pitri, Bhuta Rishi, Pitrirang, Nilang. We become connected. But some of them are dear and some of them are not very friendly enemies. So, Dasmat Priya Viyoga Sanayoga Janma. Viyoga Sanayoga Janma. As soon as one child is born, he is separated from the former life and he is connected with another new life, new body, Viyoga Sanayoga. Maybe the former body was very pleasing and this body is not very pleasing, degraded. That is possible. Dehantara Prapti. It is not that we will always get a body very pleasing, but the illusory energy is so strong. If one gets the body of a pig, he thinks it is very nice. This is called Prakhevatmika Shakti. Maya has got especially two energies, Amuranatmika and Prakhevatmika. Generally, Maya keeps us covered with illusion, and if one is little enlightened, wants to get out of the clutches of Maya, there is another potency of Maya, which is a Prakhevatmika. Suppose one thinks, now I shall become Krishna conscious.
this ordinary material consciousness is so disturbing, let me become Krishna conscious. The mind says, what will do it is, better remain in material thought. This is called prakhyātmika. Therefore sometimes some man comes in our society, after staying for days, he goes out. But this is prakhyāt, thrown out. Unless he is very sincere, he cannot stay with us. He will be thrown out. So, Prahlāda Maharaj said that these two positions, somebody is pleasing and somebody is not pleasing. It is going on, perpetually. Not that if I change this body, this process will also stop. No. So long you have got this body in the material world, you will have these two processes. Somebody will be your friend and somebody will be your enemy. Yoga samjago dhanva. But as soon as there are enemies, there is lamentation, anxiety, shokagnina. Such lamentation is just like fire of lamentation, shokagnina. Shokagnina sakala joris. If you think that only the human society such things are there, somebody's enemy, somebody's friend. No, in any society, any journey. You have seen in the sparrows, the bird society, they are also fighting. You have seen it. They are also mixing very intimately, again fighting. So either you take birds or dogs, they are famous for fighting. So this is going on. Somebody very dear, somebody enemical, and fighting between them. Sakala joni, dayamana. You cannot get escape by avoiding one society and go to the other society. That is not possible. That fire of disagreement, enmity and friendship, it will go on. Not only here, even in the heavenly planet. The heavenly planet, there is fight between the Devas and Asuras. The Asuras are envious of the Devas, and Devas are also envious of the Asuras. Everywhere. Even King Indra, he has got enemies, although he is very opulent. We want to go to the heavenly planet for enjoying the opulence of that atmosphere. But there is also the same thing.
Explanation about conflict, fighting by Srila Prabhupada in that particular section. So our main focus is not the fight all the time. No, we will bring up the issues. Authoritative references, like you said, you showed about legal matters. When you go to court, you don't just make something up. You have to quote law, the law books, and that's how you establish the facts and the principles of law, by quoting precedent. So in the same way, our classes are filled with quotes from Srila Prabhupada to verify the facts and not the speculations of other people who make it up. And they're very good at concocting things, manufacturing things. And this is going on in the so-called name of Gaudiya Vaishnavism, and it's a farce. So we'll leave it at that. We're going to go to our next section of the program, which is the 10 offenses. So please roll that now.
Nectar of Devotion, Chapter 8, Offenses to be Avoided. The offenses against the chanting of the holy name are as follows. First, to blaspheme the devotees who have dedicated their lives for propagating the holy name of the Lord. Second, to consider the names of demigods like Lord Shiva or Lord Brahma to be equal to or independent of the name of Lord Vishnu. Sometimes the atheistic class of men take it that any demigod is as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Vishnu. But one who is a devotee knows that no demigod, however great he may be, is independently as good as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Therefore, if someone thinks that he can chant Kali, Kali or Durga, Durga, and it is the same as Hare Krishna, that is the greatest offense. Third, to disobey the orders of the spiritual master. Fourth, to blaspheme the Vedic literature or literature in pursuance of the Vedic version. Fifth, to consider the glories of chanting Hare Krishna to be imagination. Sixth, to give some interpretation on the holy name of the Lord. Seventh, to commit sinful activities on the strength of the holy name of the Lord. Because by chanting the holy name of the Lord, one can be freed from all kinds of sinful reactions. It should not be taken that one may continue to act sinfully and after that chant Hare Krishna to neutralize his sins. Such a dangerous mentality is very offensive and should be avoided. 8. To consider the chanting of Hare Krishna as one of the auspicious ritualistic activities which are offered in the Vedas as fruitive activities. Karma Kanda. 9th. To instruct a faithless person about the glories of the holy name. Anyone can take part in chanting the holy name of the Lord, but in the beginning one should not be instructed about the transcendental potency of the Lord. Those who are too sinful cannot appreciate the transcendental glories of the Lord, and therefore it is better not to instruct them in this matter. 10th. To not have complete faith in the chanting of the holy names, and to maintain material attachments, even after understanding so many instructions on this matter. Every devotee who claims to be a Vaishnava must guard against these offenses in order to quickly achieve the desired success.
All glories to Srila Prabhupada. We're going to move forward with our next section of the program, which is a group chanting. If you're not going to chant, please mute your microphone and carry on with what you're doing at your house. But if you're going to chant, then leave the audio open and we'll all chant together. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Oh, you came to pick that up?
Yeah.
Oh, I was asking him to let me know if somebody will come to pick it up. I didn't bring it because.
Hare Krishna, Hare
Oh.
Krishna, Krishna Hare
You mean that
Hare Ram,
the guys from
Hare
Kenya, right?
Ram, Hare
What?
Hare.
The guys
Hare
from Kenya.
Krishna,
Oh,
Hare
no, you're
Krishna,
here to pick
Krishna
up
Hare
some
Hare,
order, right?
Hare Ram,
What is
Hare
it
Ram,
called?
Ram
I don't
Ram,
remember
Hare
what it
Hare.
was. We were here yesterday. She was
Hare
trying.
Krishna,
Yes.
She was
Hare
talking to
Hare,
someone.
Hare
I don't know if
Ram,
it
Hare
was you or
Ram,
the other
Ram
guy
Ram,
that was
Hare
here.
Hare.
Hare
But
Krishna,
there was
Hare
something
Krishna,
that you
Hare
had brought
Krishna,
out of,
Krishna
and he's
Krishna,
like
Oh,
Hare
going
Hare,
yes,
through
yes,
it.
Hare
we do have
Ram,
it.
Hare
Yes.
Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
So
Hare
that's
Krishna, Hare
cucumber
Krishna,
melon,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
10
Hare, Hare
pieces, and
Ram,
then
Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare,
this
Hare
is
Krishna,
Ram,
Hare
below
Hare
10
Krishna,
Ram,
pieces,
Krishna
right?
Krishna, Hare
Rama
Hare,
Rama,
Hare
That's
Hare
what
Ram,
it
Hare
is.
Hare,
Ram,
You
Ram
Hare
better
Ram,
check.
Krishna,
Hare
Yeah,
Hare.
Hare
I'll check.
Krishna,
Hare
Sure,
Krishna
Krishna,
yes.
Hare
So
Krishna,
we
Krishna,
have
Hare
two
Krishna
Hare,
below
Krishna,
and
Hare
10
Hare
Hare, Hare
Ram,
melon
Ram,
here.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Ram
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Yes.
Hare.
Hare Hare,
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
All
Krishna,
Krishna,
right, so
Hare
we
Krishna
finished
Krishna,
Krishna,
that.
Hare
Yep.
Hare, Hare
Okay.
Ram,
Ram,
Hare
Hare
And
Hare,
Ram, Ram
Hare
Ram,
take
Ram,
it.
Hare
Ram,
Hare.
Hare
Hare
Ram,
So,
Krishna, Hare
Ram
Krishna, Krishna
this
Krishna, Hare Hare.
almond.
Hare
Hare
So
Krishna,
this
Ram,
Hare
Hare
village
Ram,
Krishna,
Ram
principal.
Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Krishna, Hare
Hare
Krishna, Krishna
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Ram,
Hare
Ram,
Ram, Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram Ram, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Ram,
Hare,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Ram,
Hare Hare.
Hare Ram,
Hare Krishna,
Ram
Hare
Ram,
Krishna,
Hare
Krishna
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare Ram Hare 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 Krishna Hare
एक दो चीजें और डाल दें
Hare Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare 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 Krishna Hare Hare
क्या ढूंढ रहे
Hare
हैं मिल गए
Hare Hare
दे भैया
Hare Krishna Hare Hare Hare
आप
Hare
डाल सकते हो
Hare
डाल दो
Krishna Hare Hare Hare
कुछ चला नहीं देना
Hare Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare
Krishna
Hare
जब मैं डाल दूं क्या
Hare Ram Ram
तो
Ram
मेरा
Hare
डाल
Hare
देना फिर
Hare Krishna Krishna
हाँ
Hare Hare Hare
हाँ
Ram Hare 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 Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram Rama Rama Hare
हाँ
Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Hare
हाँ
Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Rama Rama Rama
हाँ
Hare
हाँ
Krishna 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna
हाँ
Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna
हाँ
Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare
हाँ
Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Rama Krishna Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Krishna Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna Rama Rama Hare Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Rama Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Krishna Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Rama Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. Chant and be happy.
Vanchakalpa tarubhyascha kripa sindhu bhayevacha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. I offer my respectful obeisances unto all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who can fulfill the desire of everyone, just like desire trees, and who are full of compassion for the fallen souls. And we want to thank everyone for participating today in the program from around the globe. It's very much appreciated and inspiring to see so many sincere people that are committed to the spiritual practices of bhakti yoga as given by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami to Prabhupada, to all his disciples, his followers, in their quest to go back home, back to Godhead. So thank you, everyone. And please carry on with your own service in your particular area, whether it's Trinidad or Bombay or Bangalore or Montreal, wherever you are, in California, in Switzerland, all these different parts of the world, Italy. Carry on with preaching and sharing Krishna consciousness with other people, and try to get them to become inspired to buy a set of Srimad Bhagavatams, the Delhi Bhagavatams, and read them every day in their quest to get out of the confusion, the forest of illusion of material life. All glories to the Sankirtan movement of Srila Prabhupada. And let's move forward with the closing credits. These are all the people that are working with us in this mission. And then any other videos that might be shown for your opportunity to associate with Srila Prabhupada. Haribo.
I'm listening. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare play that bass, chant for peace. Don't be shy, chant along, chant along. Hare 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 Bo, Hare Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare 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 Bo, Hare Bo, Hare Bo, Hare 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 Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal 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 Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Radha Ramana Hari Govinda Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya Jaya Gopal Jaya Jaya Govinda Jaya 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 Gopal Jaya